Alright, so we're here in Maya, and just going to look at tightening up this mount for the jug of the blender. And right now you can see it's collapsed in because we've smoothed it a bit. So what I'm going to do is add some edge loops to help basically create a more rigid outside form. So I'm going to go up to Mesh, Insert Edge Loop Tool, and for this one I'm going to press 2 on the keyboard so that I can see the polygonal cage that the smooth model is being derived from. So now I'm just going to click on one of these vertical edges, and I can see we've still got the tool from last time. I'm just going to go ahead, undo that, Control Z, and go to my Mesh Tools and Insert Edge Loop. Change the tool settings. You can just hit Reset Tool if you want. So go back to the default. That's what I'm doing. And I'm just going to go back to inserting an edge loop near the top and inserting an edge loop near the bottom. And you can see that's filled out the model quite nicely. Alright. Now, from here, what I'm going to do is just start pulling up some of the structures inside. Alright, so at this stage, I'm going to select the model and just have a look at where we are. Okay, now I'd like to select all these interior faces, so right-click, face, and start grabbing them. Alright. Now I think these need to be extruded down just one last time because we did that fuse or that merge components just last time. So I'm going to go to Edit Mesh, Extrude Face. Alright, pull that down a little bit. And I'm going to repeat the process by pressing G. Click on the scale icon to bring up my uniform scale gizmo, and just scale this down to the size of this first little mount that we'd like to extrude out. So to about there. Okay. Then I'm just going to extrude again. Click the scale tool to bring up my uniform scale and scale it ever so slightly down. And now I'm going to extrude up. So I'll extrude again. Mesh tool. Sorry, Edit Mesh. Extrude. And I'm just going to jump into another view, my perspective view, so I can see how high I'm extruding up. Just a little bit to begin with, create that nice hard edge. And then one more time, so pressing G on the keyboard, creating the extra extrusion. And there we go. That's just about where I want it. Now I'm just going to come into the side view to fine tune it. Last of all, if I go ahead and smooth this, okay, you can see that it's kind of doming out at the top here. So I want to add another iteration there. But instead of doing the double extrusion like I've been doing so far, I'm going to just pull this up to the final height that I'd like, and then insert an edge loop. Okay, so bring this up to about the level of this other surface, and I'm just going to press 2 on the keyboard so I can see my control mesh as well as the control cage as well as the smooth mesh. Mesh tools, insert edge loop, and create an edge loop on one of these vertical edges. You can see how quickly that tightens up. Alright, might just create one inside as well, but we can't do that. Alright, the reason is it's because it can't tell where there's a loop, okay, because there is no loop. Right? If you imagine the program seeking out, if we click here, it looks to the next face, okay, either side of it, and once it looks here, it's looking and it can only see these 3 vertices, right, defining this face. So it can't figure out how to make a quad loop around here, so it just stops. So if we want to change that, we can go and we could do things like chamfer the vertex here to create another loop and extrude it on the inside. But instead, all I'm going to do is just go back to selecting the faces here and then extruding them in. It's just, for me, it's the quickest. So I've got a shortcut of Alt-E that I use for my extrude. And now I'm just going to pull that in just a little bit like that. Alright, so if we press F on the keyboard to frame that up, choose 3, and I'm just going to go over to my material attributes, right click and hold, look at the material attributes, set the transparency down so you can see what our model's looking like so far. And I'm pretty happy with that, okay? I can definitely fine tune it later on, but that's looking good for now. In the next video, I'll go ahead and add in the additional ring. inside. See you there.